Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Garage Gym Experiment podcast. My name is Adam, that's Jake, and we're back again for another great episode. On tonight's episode, we have some cool stuff from the community. There's a tournament going on, not sure if you noticed, but it's pretty neat. Jake's going to highlight that. We have a HomeGymCon update, been getting some new vendors, we'll highlight those. New products from Bells of Steel, Gungnir, STEPR, and then we have another open trap bar choice. Our survey is going to be the best product release choices of 2024, and then Jake and I will get into a cable attachment discussion, sharing with you our cable attachments. Jake, take it away.
All right, ready for it. All right, that video was from Porter Phys Ed. So let me just play it again real quick. Or let me just start over in case you weren't watching. So basically it is a single arm or single hand cable attachment that swivels, similar to the one we highlighted last week from Force 6 Fitness. We kind of praised the Force 6 Fitness one as an innovative one. I got a DM saying from Matthew just saying, hey, just FYI, and he wasn't complaining. He was just saying, hey, FYI, I posted this about a month ago, and it's pretty much the same product. So, just wanted to give Matthew some credit here, not necessarily wanting to throw shade on anybody. It is kind of what you get for posting it on Instagram. You're just kind of opening it up for other people to also do the same thing. But it sounds like he's in the works with producing this product. It is a cool thing. He used, I don't know exactly what handles he's using, but he's using some handles from Rep Fitness. I'm thinking it might be the trap bar handles, and then also egg weights, which are like, you like hold them and throw punches. Like, I don't know exactly what they are, but cool little combo there. Cool DIY project that could turn into something. And also just wanted to highlight the Home Gym Hub on Instagram. So this is a relatively newer account, and it looks like he's primarily showcasing home gyms and is doing a good job with being kind of creative with it and doing like a bracket style, and you can vote in the bracket for like your home gym. I think they're down to like the Elite 8. So go check out the Home Gym Hub. This kind of reminds me of the type of stuff that we did when we first started a home gym account. Just like scrappy. It was cool, but it took a while, So props to him for doing this. It looks fun. I might try and like clean up my gym, get some pictures in for the next round.
Yeah, it's been cool because I think if you start looking at the matchups and stuff, it's like it's all your internet friends with really cool gyms. There's this guy who like, I don't know, he lives in like the next town over. He's got a pretty cool one. I saw him in there like matched up with like Coach Carp or something like that. Yeah, it was cool.
I have gotten a few DMs like, hey, can you go vote for me? So I think right now it's still like small enough to where you can like message your friends to get enough votes to get to the next level. Yeah, cool little cool page going on at Home Gym Hub. Let's move on to HomeGymCon update. So just added a few more vendors this week, slowly but surely. True Grit is in. Recon Health and Fitness from Canada is in. Let's see, I'm looking at the map right now. I think that's it since the last time we did an update. But we do have another company. I'm just waiting on a logo. 107 companies from 8 different countries, and we are starting to fill up that back portion. So you can kind of see some light at the end of the tunnel as far as like, are we going to fill this thing all the way up? And I think we might.
Which is absolutely wild because it's a huge space. What were you telling me, in proportion to French Lick, how much bigger?
So we just crossed 30,000 square feet sold. That is, I think in French Lick we ended up at 16.9. So we're very close to like doubling the floor space from last year. And I think, I imagine if we sell out, it'll end up being about 3 times larger than last year. But we also set aside quite a bit. We have 4 different competition areas, and like the strongman area, I want to say is like 3 or 4 times larger than what it was last year. So I think overall square footage is like 4 to 5 times larger than that big space in French Lick. It is really hard to like comprehend how much bigger it is than last year, like by just looking at this map. All right, let's move on to some new products. So I think this first one here might be one of the better product releases, or at least most interesting product releases of this entire year. So the Bells of Steel Smith machine, we got to see a sneak peek of it at HomeGymCon last year. But this one has some cool features. So in general, it works with all of the primary Bells of Steel racks, and then most non-Bells of Steel racks with 3x3 tubing. I didn't type it in here, but I think it does have to be between like 84 and 90 inches height though, and have certain hole requirements. But it should fit most. Yeah, that's the
bummer for the basement
space.
folks.
Yeah. There are 2 different versions. So you have a fixed bar version, which includes like a 36-pound starting weight, a light knurl, 600-pound weight capacity, and then also a BYO bar, which allows you to put your own bars in there rather than using whatever is standard.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it is smart.
It's like what you talked about, a Smith machine with like a good bar. Like that was your idea.
Right.
Like this isn't your idea, but like that was one of your product ideas, and the fact that you could use like your best knurled power bar and throw it in here is so cool.
Right. And then you also wouldn't have to like duck under it or whatever whenever you're using the rack in other ways.
Oh, true.
So
yeah.
So I mean, there's a number of reasons that you would want to be able to take it on and off. Think like the VTS. That's another perk of the VTS. You can use your own stuff, or it doesn't take up a bar that takes up the entire space. But I like the idea of having it set up all the time. If it's not always set up, or it's not easy to set up, then you're not going to use it as much. So yeah, I like this. Another thing is it only takes up an additional 14 inches on the rack, or adds 14 inches to the rack. So you can use it on the inside or the outside, depending on how much space you want to use and where you want to use it. Lastly, it is on pre-sale for $799, and it's expected to ship at the end of February. So Bells of Steel is the first one in the U.S. to come out with this rack attachment. I imagine in the next few months, a few other companies will as well.
All of them. I bet you Rep's already got something in the works, and my guess is 3 to 6 months it'll be available for pre-sale, and then Rogue will probably follow. They're a bigger company, so I feel like to add something to their catalog maybe takes a little longer. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be something that they all have, so kudos to Bells for getting it out there, and then also for the VTS as well. I know we're highlighting the Bells one, but that one I felt like got the ball rolling a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, the Trapper from Gungnir. So this is basically an open trap bar with the built-in collars that all Gungnir bars have. It is pretty light compared to most, so 20 kg, stainless steel handles, medium knurl, made in Scandinavia, and it's expensive, $869.
Oh, Jake, I got to get your take on that design of the Gungnir.
So I actually tried it at Ursa last year. So they had it in Ursa. I thought it was pretty cool. I would still rather get like a Rep open trap bar though, just because it's more versatile. Like it's rackable, it's way cheaper, it has different handle options. So I mean, the built-in collars is cool. It's a look that I can definitely see not everyone loving. What about you?
I really appreciate them going for like a different style with this like circular thing, but man, I have a tough time looking at this. It looks so ugly to me. I don't know. Like, I think it's a terrible look. I mean, maybe that's just a me thing. Do you think that, like, this like circle barb? I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't know. I'm undecided.
Okay, give me some hard angles, man. Some hard cut angles, like a sports car.
Did not get much love on the Instagram post. All right, STEPR XL. So I love my STEPR, but this is just the commercial version for it. Features 9-inch step, larger step area. You can get it with a connected screen or a customizable screen. This is something that is way out of the price range for the standard home gym owners, but it's cool.
Yeah, and like we're tallish, Jake, and the regular STEPR, I feel like it works perfect. But like right when you're taking your foot off to make your next step, it's like when it's like perfect for your step, but there's really no wiggle room, which is, you know, a sacrifice for like bringing something like that in your home gym. But would you agree with that? I think that was your take on it too. When I got on it, was like, yeah, it's like perfect, and you'd almost want a little extra space.
It's one of those things where if you've used a STEPR for a lot of years, you might notice. I hadn't really used it for years before adding it to my home gym, but I can see why like somebody would be hesitant towards adding a STEPR without trying it. Whereas this, if you have space, the height, the money, this is a no-brainer. Really, like, I think the discounted price though is $8,000. You know,
Discount.
And I don't that's the pre-order discount right now. I think it's like $11,000 without. I almost didn't even add it to this because it's not a home gym.
It's not really a home gym thing. Yeah, sure.
No.
Someone will throw it in their home gym, but yeah.
But I would love this. I personally use my STEPR more than any other piece of cardio. But it's like a luxury. It's a luxury to have. Survey data questions. So number 1, which open trap bar are you going to go with? So this is the 3rd year we have asked this question. And for the 3rd straight year, the data hasn't really changed. So easy number 1 option is rep. The number 2 option in the past had just been Kabuki. However, I did change it to Kabuki/Prime/Alico.
So a more expensive version.
So yeah, just like more expensive, more premium options. 27% in that category. Giant went from about 10% down to 6% this year. So that was kind of a surprise. And then other would be 19%. So I think rep was exactly at 48% last year. I touched on the changes from Giant, but everything else was pretty much the same for the past few years. I did a review on the Midas Open Trap Bar from Fringe. I have it in my home gym still. I have the Rep Open Trap Bar in my home gym, and I find myself using the one from Fringe more often. However, if I had to like buy a single one for my home gym, I think I would still go with Rep. Just because of its versatility, you can change out the handles. Like, it just seems like a better long-term option, but I can totally see why somebody wouldn't want something so cumbersome.
Yeah, you had the one from Giant, which now lives with me. What's your take on them right now?
So that would be that would be right in the discussion too, especially if I was to like consider my own budget. Like that option is very solid, not quite as versatile as the Rep option, but I mean it's right in there in the conversation.
Well, since we're talking about open trap bars, December starts soon. Jake, are you partaking in December from Swornex? I wore my shirt for today because I just ordered my new shirt.
If you do it, I'll try and do it.
Yeah.
Are you doing it?
Yeah.
It's the best?
Yeah, it's great. I love December. You know, I always kind of like get a little iffy around Christmas time, but they're also good on their planning as well. Like they you have days off and stuff. So yeah, it's great.
It's not every day? I thought you deadlifted every day.
The program comes out every day, but there's some rest days. And by rest, I mean you're supposed to drink eggnog and eat Little Debbie Christmas trees.
Got it.
Yeah. So I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
What
I'll
I
do
do.
it if you do it.
Yeah. What I do is I do my regular programming, but I do the deadlift every day, like the deadlift part. And then if you're supposed to bench, I do my regular bench programming afterwards or whatever.
Yeah, I just love doing my own thing.
I love
Yeah.
to deadlift on a straight bar also. Having the open trap bar was nice for like when I was doing a lot of running. But now that I'm just doing like the big compound lifts again, like a little heavier, I love a straight bar deadlift. I don't know.
Do they give you an option, or is it like?
I mean, you have some days it's like a snatch grip deadlift and stuff like that. But if it just says regular deadlift, I mean, you could probably just grab an open trap bar.
Yeah.
I remember Adam from Lab doing, he did Squat-tober, and every single squat he did with a Mars bar. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So
Yeah. Got it. I could use a little change of pace. So
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
And it's nice to like get a bunch of people involved and be like, oh man, that sucked, you know?
yeah. All right, best product releases of the year. So this was also a Q&A, or this was also a multiple choice option. So we had Rep, Rogue, Bells of Steel, or Other. Rep was the winner with 43% of the votes. 33% of the votes went to Rogue. About 9% went to Bells of Steel, and then 15% went to Other. I actually added, let me take a look at my phone. Did you see I threw that in there to the story? Who would Other be? And I have some responses that I'll read from my phone.
When did you put that
so
in?
We've got
Sorry.
this morning.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Bulletproof, Get RX, decent amount for Bulletproof. Black Widow, Bulletproof, Darko, Get RX, Black Widow. So seems like others in the running would be Black Widow, who really has pumped out a good amount of newer products. Bells of Steel, or not Bells of Steel, Bulletproof, and then Get RX. So I probably should have put Get RX in here instead of Bells. But Bells has released more. Like if you go to their new products, there's like 50 to 100 new small things.
Do you remember that thing I sent you, that picture I sent you? And then it didn't show up on your
one?
end? That bizarre, massive, like leg extension, leg curl, crazy accessory machine. So it popped up, and then I snapped it and sent it to picture. You seen this yet? Because it was on their product page, and it didn't show up on your end. So I wonder if that's, I don't know, something they're messing with. I don't know. But I love how
Did you
how
go
Black
back and
Widow.
look?
I haven't gone back and looked. No, I just grabbed the picture. I was like, oh, it's there. But I love how Black Widow innovates, because it's basically, I feel like I have this picture of how it works. People being like, hey, Dean, you mind like fabbing me this? He's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll try. And then he just like goes and makes it be like on demand when like someone needs something. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm getting my first piece of Black Widow equipment, by the way. I already told you. But one of their landmine handles, so I'm pumped.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. All right, let's move on. Wait, real quick. Mm-hmm. Who would you vote for? Who would you vote for?
I voted for Rogue because everything was like, as I was thinking about like the new products, my years started like clash. Did that come out in 24, 25? But Rogue releasing their, finally getting their functional trainer towers and the back lat pull downs and everything. I felt like, I went with Rogue.
I feel like most people voted for Rep because of the Reppins. I feel like that was kind of the
that one didn't
biggest
strike me as like
the year.
A new product release, because the Pepins were already out, and then they teamed up to like, do the Reppins now. So like in my head, I wasn't thinking like the Reppins as like this new product, even though it is. But like I kind of felt like it's just felt like the Pepins came out and then the Reppins followed like a year and a half later.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
That's where my head was at least.
It's hard to think about a whole entire year without like context.
Like I said, I was like thinking about products and I was like, was that this year or last year? I couldn't. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Next up, another repeat, and this one also pretty similar to the past few years. So we asked, what's your primary barbell? Is it a power bar, multi-purpose bar, an Ollie weightlifting bar, or I don't know, or other? 46% said power bar, 38% with multi-purpose bar, 10 Ollie weightlifting, and then 6% I don't know or other. So this has been pretty much the same as last year, and then the year before, nothing too crazy except a couple, or actually I think it was 2021, 2023, and then this year. The Ollie weightlifting was like 23% back in 2021. So that has gone down quite a bit. There's not as many people focused on Olympic weightlifting as there used to be, at least within this community.
I couldn't tell if it was because I used to do it and now I'm out of it, if like I just like kind of lost touch, or if like the numbers truly were shrinking. So it looks like from this data, the numbers are kind of shrinking.
Yeah. And then finally, we touched on this last week at the end of the episode. Are you more interested in collecting barbells for your home gym? So we've seen many walls just loaded up with bars, or cable attachments. 52% went with barbells, whereas 48% went with cable attachments. So pretty close, but I honestly thought cable attachments was going to come out with the win.
And I'm trying to justify like where I think this 52 over 48 came from. Do you think barbells includes like your, at this point in home gyms, I'd say most people have a squat bar, and by that I mean a Mars bar, a safety squat bar, or something like that. Because when I think of collecting barbells, I think of collecting like multiple straight bars. Like I have like, 3 multi-purpose bars and 2 power bars. That's what I think of. So I'm wondering if people thought collecting barbells is like specialty bars.
Yeah, it was really hard to phrase this question to try.
No,
and
I think this is fine.
I wanted.
Yeah,
and I think collecting specialty bars is kind of like goes into it. I think that's like okay to think about. You also have to think not everybody has a cable system. So like a third of people just don't even have cables.
Wild.
So that has to play it into it as well. So like if you're not into a cable, if you don't have a cable system, then you're not voting for cable attachments. Whereas everybody can get a barbell, or you can use it without anything else. So I think that plays into it as well. Cable attachments was leading for a little bit. I was kind of monitoring this one, and they were leading for a few hours, and then barbells caught up.
Yep. Shocked as well. I thought cable would not only take it, but take it by a decent chunk.
It's an easier thing to collect. It's just easier, cheaper, takes up less space. We'll have to do this again, and like it's gonna be hard to wait a whole year, but next year I guess we'll have to maybe 6 months. 6 months check in. So Adam and I are gonna do a quick little discussion about our cable attachments. We didn't really know exactly the best way to go about this, but I kind of broke it. I'm not sure how Adam broke it out into, but I broke it out into like, what are my favorites? What am I using the very most often? And what do I not use anymore? I left out, I have a lot. I left out the ones in the middle. So the ones that I just don't find myself using on a regular basis, which I have some really nice ones that I just don't, that I use maybe once a month as opposed to on a weekly basis. So my favorites. So I think my very favorite right now, and it goes in shifts, so it changes from month to month, but the mag style attachments. So I have 3 of them. I have a very wide one. I have one that's like shoulder width, and then one in between. So I have like the wider options. I don't have any of the close grips. But those, I don't know. There's just something about them. I have a hard time like explaining why they're so great, but they are. The like closer grip one is like almost as good of a bicep workout as anything that I even have. So I use those for bicep workouts as well. The Rogue lat pull down bar, it's stainless steel. It's just very solid. It's tough to beat. Atlas attachment from Clevabuilt. So Adam, I can't remember if we were on the podcast or if it was a phone call and you were like, I don't really like that as much.
It's a phone call.
It was a phone call. So so we have phone calls about this stuff. I don't love it for pull downs. I like it for landmine work, which I know this doesn't count, but I like it for rows on the ground, or
that counts.
Basic rows.
Yeah.
Yes. So I threw in the Atlas attachment for those purposes. The flat tricep bar, you can see, I threw that in the picture. You can see in the back how it's different than like a regular tricep bar. That's my favorite tricep bar right now. I think it eliminates like the grip necessary, and I can definitely feel a larger burn than a traditional tricep bar. I also like the one with the rope with the ergonomic handles. Like, find myself using both of those a lot. I have one set up on the G15 just about all the time, and then the other set up on the universal pulley system as far as triceps. And then, like I mentioned, there's a number of ones that I, trying to keep it concise, that I didn't add here. But some lessons are just ones that I don't use anymore if I had to like buy again. So the knockoff mag grips. So they do work. They do the job. They're not as good though, and I just feel kind of slimy using them, and like and like having them on my wall. So I would say like I haven't really touched. I actually haven't touched them at all since purchasing the mags, the traditional mags. There's the angles are better and the quality's better. Anything generic, I don't really touch anymore. For like a lot of pulley systems, you get some generic ones that come with it, like a basic lat pull down bar or tricep attachment. Or you can also buy like cheap packages from Amazon. Anything like that I've bought or it came with the setup. I never use. I have a pile of them that I just want to like put for free on Marketplace because the overall value of those are basically nothing. Anything with like a chrome coating, so I've found like anything in the garage, and this kind of ties in with what I was just saying about buying cheap things from Amazon, is it just rusts really quick and ends up being nasty after months of use. And then this one might be kind of controversial, or not everyone will agree, but anything like you have to add handles. So not only is it an extra step, but a lot of times they reduce the ROM. Most specifically with the like lat pull downs that I have, I'm usually like barely getting enough height to begin with, so the handles usually take it down too far to where I have to lean back and it's just not as effective. So that is kind of my experience with cables, and just keep in mind I've been adding and rotating and using for like 5 years. So it's something that I feel pretty confident talking about. Do you have thoughts on mine?
I'm glad that you brought up the knockoff mags, because I remember when you had those, I was like, I have to bring mine. So I actually brought mine the next time I came to your house. We used them because I always noticed that the angles aren't perfect, and so I'm glad you brought that up. And then everything else, I'll kind of you'll see when I go through mine.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have a picture of where all of mine are set up. I'll go through my favorites really quick. I'll start with the mag grip lat pull down bars. I have the wide and the medium. Jake's right. They're the best. You feel it exactly where you need to. The grip is obviously maximum advantaged. I never understood why they offer palms forward, palms back, especially in the middle one. When I want to do, I forget, supinated, supinated, whatever. But when I want to do palms facing me, I just spin the bar, and it's a really good angle as is. I don't see the need to buy an extra bar that has the reverse angle on it. I just spin it. So those are my top picks. My next favorite is the long tricep rope, or tricep strap, I should say, from Belt Fed Strength. They teamed up with Surplus Strength on that one, and they made a long tricep strap. And the reason I still have my tricep rope is when I do landmine work, I wrap that around the bar, and that's what I use as my landmine attachment. I don't use it on cables anymore. But I have like I said, Black Widow landmine bar coming, so that might get gotten rid of. The ones I don't use very much at all, but are still here, are my single arm attachments. I just don't do a lot of single arm use on cables. I keep them around because every once in a while I will. The metal one, which is pretty traditional for any commercial gym. If you're not looking at the picture, it's, chrome. The handle rotates on one side, the metal single handle. I got and I don't use. I use the cloth ones with a rubber grip if I'm doing something single arm, which I don't very often. My big one that I'm kind of up in the air on, like you said, the cheap chrome plated, I do have a straight bar and I use it a lot. And I have to agree with you. I don't like the chrome finish. I don't like the cheap ones. It squeaks and squeals like crazy. But my issue is I'm not willing to spend $200 on a straight tricep bar. That's one of those where it's going to have to be like, my wife's asking for a gift and I can get gifted a nice one. I've tried to buy one myself and I can't get myself to spend barbell prices on a cable attachment. That's really hard for me. So I put up with the nuisances of it, and it is what it is. If anyone knows of a good easy bar cable attachment, put it in the comments, because I've been looking for an easy bar as well for triceps and bicep curls. Yeah, I don't have a ton. I would like more. Like you said, it'd be awesome to have just like a giant gift card to JD Gym Equip and just like load up on his cable attachments. Black Widow's got some cool stuff too. They have an easy bar, fat grip, cable attachment, rotates and everything. But again, I think it's like, for that cable attachment, I think it's close to like $300, which I can't, just not going to be able to do. Not that like I couldn't afford it, which kind of that too, but more so that like I can't spend a barbell price on a cable attachment. I can't. And I understand like it's marked that way because that's how much it costs. But yeah, I'd rather just have the cheap ones at that point.
And it is tough. I remember just buying the Amazon packages, and the prices might be up a little bit more, but you get like 5 pieces for like $50.
Right.
As opposed to like, yeah, sure, lat pull down bar that will last forever. But I will say, like the mag knockoffs, I would have never purchased the legit mags without at least trying those first. Yeah. So, as much as I like appreciate the mag grips, it is very hard to get a newer home gym owner, or even like your average home gym owner, to really consider, because even those 3 that I bought were
$100 package.
I think like $400, or maybe not 400, maybe like 300 though.
There's 60 to 80 a piece, the mag grips.
Yeah.
Where you can get a full set of the knockoffs for like $100. It used to be. I don't know what it is anymore.
Yes. So, I mean, I do recommend people like just buy one at a time if you can. They are my favorite. They are the favorite ones I have as of right now. But yeah, tough to like try and showcase the difference, because like you said, the angles are just right, as opposed to the people that don't know what they're creating. The angles are not right.
Yeah.
So
it's someone who sees something and these seem to be popular. They try to reproduce it. Yeah. You could tell like the person who made mag grips clearly used them. Like, yeah, very well done. And then like I struggled too. I almost bought a stainless steel lat pull down bar, because every once in a while I do want to use like a standard pull down bar, but when you have the mag grips, I kind of feel like, why? Like, I feel like I would have it. It would look cool, and then it wouldn't get used. It'd only get used out of guilt. Like, well, I bought it, so I might as well use it.
So two things. Number one, I meant to say that actually when I was going down my list. If I could only have one, I would a traditional like lat pull down bar or one of the mag grips. I'd go with the mag grip. I just like it better. And then 2, going back to like owning the knockoffs, when I bought them way back in like 2020 or 2021, I just saw them on Cheap for Amazon. I didn't like, I never heard of Mag Grips, the company. So like, I just want to like, I just want to like explain myself. It was a company I'd never heard of. I saw that these were popular. They had high reviews. So when people are buying these, and I was deep in the industry, I had never heard of Mag Grips. You know, maybe I'd seen them, but I didn't I didn't go do my research to say, oh, who makes these? I just saw them on Amazon. They were very cheap. They had lots of reviews, and I bought them, and I really liked them, like even for the knockoffs. And then, I don't know, like I think people started saying comments like, oh, bought the knockoffs. I was like, I guess. So
they got really popular.
You know,
I mean, I think Brandon, we can just say first names now. But, Basement Brandon also, last names are, also recommended them at some point. Like they were making the rounds, the knockoffs, where I had gotten lucky enough to train at like kind of a dungeony gym where they had Mag Grips. And I remember using them, being like, you fall in love when you use them. But yeah, your sins are forgiven, Jake.
I don't know. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Sorry. All right. Well,
sweet. That's gonna do it. Well, if you like tonight's episode, be sure to keep your eye out for new episode releases wherever you listen to podcasts, and be sure to follow Neural News. Not subscribed yet? Check out the link below and sign up for more home gym content. Be on the lookout for HomeGymCon information coming out. Visit homegymcon.com or check out the socials, HomeGymCon. Jake, anything else left for the listeners?
nope.
All right, guys. Check you next time. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.